Okay, let's first look at condition. So for condition, we basically make a code block optionally executed. What it means is that we can have a if statement. So we can have a single if statement, which means, for example, we have a equal to 9, and then we can say if a is larger than 5, then print a is larger than 5. Okay, something like that. So this will only be executed if this one is evaluated as true. So if you get the type of this, it will be a Boolean. And if you remove the type, just look at value, it should be evaluated as true in order to execute a code block after that. You can have multiple code blocks like this. So this is another 9 in the code block. Now let's turn it into less than 5. In this case, this will be false and none of this will be executed, so that you won't see anything. Now what you'll notice is that we define a code block, which means they are inside the same block of code using indentation, and usually we can put 2 spaces or 4 spaces. And in Colab, it will automatically indent for you if it sees a structure that needs indentation. Okay, so if we want to get out of the indentation, you just need to re-indent back to the beginning. So in this case, this is the if statement, and this is just another 9 after the if block. So no matter what the result is for this if statement, this one will always be executed, right? Because it's out of the code block under this if statement. So you can use if, just only one if, to mean this will be optionally executed. And you can also add the else statement, which means, let's say, else print a is no greater than 5. And we move this one. So you can put an else, so if it doesn't hit this, it will automatically jump into the else statement. Which means we can stratify the condition into a binary consequence, right? Either this one or this one. Well, sometimes you might want to do more than 2. So in that case, you might have a nested if else, like if something and then else. And what you want to do is under this else, there's another if else. And then under that else, there could be another if else. So Python make it easier because it has the elif, which just means else if. So what it means is that we can have if a is less than 5, then say a is less than 5. Remove this one. And then elif, just to do another stratification, is it less than 8? If yes, then it will say less than 8. Else, it will say it's equal or larger than 8. You can have multiple elif here if you want. But basically, this structure would define multiple stratification for this condition. Okay, so if we execute this one, it will hit the else because a is 9, so none of this will be true. Another thing I want to teach you is that sometimes after the if statement, you might see something like a number or some other objects. So in that case, whatever after the if will be evaluated as the Boolean first. So in fact, what it's doing is something like this. Okay. So the question then becomes, what will be evaluated as true and what objects or what values will be evaluated as false. So for numbers, 0 is false, and then non-zero will be true. Okay, this can be, let's say, print bool 0, and then print bool, say, 1. What you will see is there's a false first, that's for the 0 case, and then there's a true. So in this case, we can have if minus 1, because minus 1 is non-zero, it will be executed. It will be evaluated as true, and then this one will be executed because it's under the true condition. Okay, and if we are dealing with a list or collections, if the length of that collection, let's just name it C, is 0, then none. So it's false, not none. Otherwise, it will be true. Which means it will first get the length of that collection. Basically, this will convert it into a number, then it will evaluate as per this rule for the numbers. Which means if we have an empty list here, and this will be evaluated as false. But if we have something there, it will be evaluated as true. So this will be executed. And we can see when we get the boolean of this, it will be true. And if we get the empty, it will be false. Okay, so that's basically this rule. Now that you know how to use if else in your program, you can just make things a little bit complicated compared with just a simple linear execution. And in the next video, we're going to look at loops.